Empire. The gaming boom from then to now.
Everything is interconnected from a design standpoint of everything you do within a game helps and supports and adds to everything else that you do within that same product. I think that continues to expand now to where every product that you play somehow, works together too.
That's Mike Taramykin, co-founder and CEO of HypGames, who went from startup to large platform partner back to startup. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein. Mobile technology has literally changed the game for everyone. We know sports teams, leagues, athletes, they're trying to leverage it for branding while at the same time, they're fighting for the attention they used to have. Gaming has been an addendum to sports, but now feels more intertwined than ever. And as fantasy and gambling explode, free-to-play models are necessary for engagement and retention. Our guest this week is Mike Taramykin, who is the CEO and the founder of HypGames, which is a mobile application developing the company at the intersection of sports, media, and gaming. So let's see where gaming is going in the future. Thanks, Mike. Nice to talk to you.
Likewise. Great to be here.
Your background, you've worked with a number of major companies in the gaming industry, EA Sports, FanDuel as well. Tell me about those experiences and which led to starting HypGames.
Yeah. I mean, my background started, in game development back in the 90s, in New York City. And, I had a game company called Hypnotics, hence the hip part of the name.
Yep.
And we focused on console games, PC games, stuff like that. And, really kind of focused on sports games. Really after a while, that became kind of our bread and butter. We did, games like Outlaw Golf and Outlaw Volleyball. We just, kind of took the Happy Gilmore approach to sports games. And then, so while the games always had a sense of humor and stuff like that, we always focused a lot on authenticity and the physics and the competition and stuff like that, which eventually attracted EA to come and buy us. So in 2005, we sold HypGames Hypnotics. Got to keep those straight. To EA, and then I joined EA in 2005, and then went from making Outlaw Golf to making Tiger Woods Golf, and ran the Tiger Woods business at EA for 8 years. And it happened to be a pretty interesting 8 years because that was starting in 2005, and then in 2007 the iPhone came out, and Facebook became a thing in that time period. And so along with just, always focusing on games and gameplay, you have these new builds too, free to play, things like that, social gaming and the like. And so while running the golf business at EA, I also got incredibly interested in free to play and launched things like Madden on Facebook and Madden on mobile, and just really trying to find new business models for gaming. And so naturally, after EA, kind of went to Zynga, which seemed like a nice next step. A company that was very much focused on kind of free to play as the core business model, and started building a sports business unit there as well. And then it was 2015. Next thing you knew, from 10 years since getting acquired, and FanDuel. Was just an incredible opportunity. They were just really starting to kind of break out with fantasy, daily fantasy and stuff like that. And so joined there in 2015 rather, really focus on kind of like expanding beyond just the core, fantasy into just other kind of ways of engaging sports fans. So yeah, and then after that, just said. Sort of, it was funny when we got acquired and when we joined EA, the thought was that was cool. Let's hang out here for 2 or 3 years, learn a thing or two, and then go start another company. And then next thing it was 12 years later, and we myself and the other co-founders thought, if we're ever going to do this, let's no time like the present.
Why didn't you leave after 2 or 3 years?
I was enjoying myself too much. Honestly, I think there's something really cool about being in a company with incredible resources, incredible reach, just incredible kind of opportunities to do things. When I joined EA, I was coming from a small indie developer where everything we had to we had to work hard to get anything, and the next thing you know, you're kind of dealing with the biggest athletes, the biggest leagues, the biggest players in sports, and there was so many opportunities to do innovative things that it's kind of hard to be like, okay, I'm going to go back to no one knowing who I am, and so just enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about free to play. I get it with FanDuel as an engagement tool to likely lead to other opportunities on their platform. But for someone like EA or yourself, why are you so bullish about free to play gaming?
Well, I mean, at this point, we're bullish about it because that's kind of what the market is bullish about. If you look at games in general, I think safely over half at this point are mobile games, which is almost exclusively free to play. So I think the market and the audience appreciates it. The value proposition is, here's a product, you don't have to pay anything, you can just play it. And if you enjoy it, great. And if you want more, just pay for it when you're ready. And so I think the market, has really kind of embraced that from the beginning. We used to say you can't fight free, but at the same time, being able to distribute your products for free on mobile and getting people to play it and then have them start spending when they feel like it's worth it has actually worked out in our favor, because I think once people really get engaged, they sample more, they try more, and if your products are actually good, there's a great opportunity to reach a much broader audience when you don't have like a paywall basically, or if you don't have to pay $60 or you don't have to just buy everything up front. People have ended up actually engaging more and spending more over time because they were allowed the opportunity to play something and see if they like it before they had to put money down.
And so that model, you don't see that going anywhere anytime soon.
No, it's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, I mean, you see it going the other way, with subscription services and, gaming in general. The days of for $50 you get everything are kind of long gone. And it's all about, thinking about the lifetime value of a player, being able to bring somebody into your ecosystem and just keep them entertained and keep them engaged and, continue providing them with products and services and having them pay when they feel like they want to, has proven to be a lot more successful than just trying to get hyping somebody up to go out there and buy everything up front and then hope they're happy afterwards.
All right. So you had mentioned all these different platforms by which the games have found new spaces to live and thrive. Facebook, I'm sure some of the other social media platforms as well, mobile phone. If you were to project out, because I think this is the hardest thing that we've found with engagement with modern fans and modern users, where is it going? Do you have a sense of where it's going?
Yeah, I have a sense. Doesn't mean I'm right, but I think it's interesting because kind of knowing where games are going is kind of it's really two questions. One is, where's technology going, and the other one is how where's kind of the market's desire to engage going, and or how do they want to engage with that technology? Those are kind of two questions. I think the easier one is, how do people want to interact? Because I think one thing that we're seeing is, the world is becoming more and more connected, and people are, interacting with technology is really about interacting with people through technology. And I think that's very, very true in gaming, right? So you have communities of everything, right? Some are good, some are not. But at the same time, the key is no one really lives in too much of a siloed world anymore. Everything is connected. And so I think in the gaming space, where I see the gaming market going is really starting to create, and just if we're going to talk about sports gaming, is really starting to create these communities and leagues and groups, that interact and play and compete against each other and have, legitimate, golf leagues or baseball leagues or softball leagues that are digital, but still involve a lot of the core components of physical stuff. It's people who get together, who talk trash, who give each other a hard time and also support each other when they do well. And the competition is real too, because then it still comes down to skill. I mean, games at the end of the day, whether it's hand-eye coordination, whether you're like throwing a ball or tapping a controller really fast, there's still a level of skill. And so the idea of gaming going to a more and more connected world where the competition isn't just about me playing on the couch with, a friend of mine who came over, more about, me playing in a giant league with people from all around the world. It's not like that's where it's going. That's where it is. It's just getting deeper and deeper. It's becoming more and more, more and more engaging. I think technology facilitating that is a slightly different, story / question, because, on the one hand, phones are perfect. Everybody has it. You have it all the time. It's with you, like literally. It's probably never. Your phone is probably never more than 6 feet away from you.
That's right.
Usually a lot closer. And I'm saying maybe when you sleep, maybe it's like 4 feet away.
6 feet. I start getting nervous if it's 6 feet away from me.
That's right. No, same here. It's like when I go out, it's like if I lose my wallet, I don't really need it. Like I really don't need anything except my phone, because it's my keys. You used to always say wallet, phone, keys. That's what you need. But now the phone is your wallet and your keys. So, but the idea with tech is there's just a bunch of different. There's really just a bunch of different threads in the tech bucket. And so the first and the major one is just mobile, like having a device that is connected to the world at all times. That lets us create all kinds of experiences. Again, whether it's a golf game or whether it's a football game or something like that, where, your league, your friends, your team, your community is always with you. Then we get into the subsets of stuff like AR and VR and crypto and just a whole bunch of other technologies that kind of overlay on top of that modify the engagement. I forgot about consoles and PCs, didn't want to disrespect anybody. And I think all of those really just kind of work the tech and the platform work in service of the core idea of just connecting people in a competitive way. And in that space, when you ask where is all this going, it's a great question, right? I mean, I think I'm particularly interested in concepts like a metaverse.
Yeah.
I think it's a heck of a buzzword. I think it means something different to everybody. I'm not ashamed to say that what it means to me may not be what other people think it is. But to me, the idea of a metaverse is really just this overarching connection between everything that you're kind of doing, and whether that's within one product, having every game mode, every community, everything you're in somehow be interconnected. To maybe it's having all of your games interconnected and everything that you're doing, across different products being interconnected too. I think that's unescapable. I think the ability to keep connecting things is just going to happen organically, and whether it's called a metaverse or whether it's called something else, just that idea of everything. The products don't have modes anymore. You don't go in, you don't play franchise mode, season mode, or exhibition mode. That's kind of long gone. Everything is interconnected from a design standpoint of everything you do within a game helps and supports and adds to everything else that you do within that same product. I think that continues to expand now to where every product that you play somehow, works together too. And then it ties into the real world. When I go to a Starbucks, maybe there's some kind of interaction that happens within a game that I'm playing because of where I am in the world. And then it goes the inverse, which is, through VR and stuff. It's like maybe when I'm wearing, when I'm wearing a VR headset, the entire world is there and I can travel to places without even kind of getting up. But it's all about connectivity. It's all about interconnectivity between people. And again, I just keep saying competition because that's sports. I mean, sports at the end of the day is, it's I'm better than you and I can prove it. Borrowing that tagline from that's one of the things we used to say at EA Sports all the time. That was basically our philosophy, which was, I'm better than you and I can prove it. And, the game is the way I prove it. So I think, I think that trend continues. And then you've got all kinds of different technologies that just add to that. It's, if you start betting on the outcomes and you're betting through crypto, I mean, great. That's how it comes together, or blockchain or, however you want to refer to it, or NFTs or whatever. But the idea that all of this tech, really all the different sort of trends in technology come in service of connecting people together, and making, interaction and engaging with people more interesting and broader.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. With LinkedIn becoming #1 in B2B display advertising in the US, you've got a great advantage. With their tools, you can stand out against your competitors while nurturing customer relationships and growing your brand. So scale your marketing and grow your business with LinkedIn advertising. As a thank you to their customers for helping them grow 3 times faster than the competition, LinkedIn is offering a $100 credit on your next campaign. Just go to linkedin.com/marketing.
Guys, if you're looking for that extra confidence when it's time to have a little bit of fun, let me tell you about Bluechew.com. Bluechew is a unique online service. It delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but it comes in chewable form and it's at a fraction of the cost. Bluechew's tablets will help you combat all forms of ED. Plus, it's an online prescription service. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is really simple. Sign up at Bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and the best part, all done online. Bluechew's licensed medical providers are going to work with you to find the right ingredient and the strength for your personal subscription. Plus, their tablets are made in the United States. They prepare, they ship direct, and it's so much cheaper than going through a pharmacy. And here's a special deal for our listeners. Try Bluechew free when you use our promo code FUTR, FUTR, at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's Bluechew.com, promo code FUTURE, FUTR, to receive your first month free. And we thank Bluechew for being a sponsor of this show. Let me ask you about modern sports fans and gaming and how they intersect, and maybe the way they used to, and maybe the way that you see that it will happen now, which I think kind of encompasses a lot of the things that you're talking about. We have a lot of guests on this show that talk a lot about entertainment and attending games, the way that teams and leagues are trying to interact with their fans, and how gaming falls into this subset in some way. But in a lot of ways, they're not totally sure how they're going to move forward to engage differently with their select fan bases. Does that kind of resonate with you, where we're trying to figure out how gaming and these worlds interact with real world teams and real world leagues and people actually attending games and being part of real athletics?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's why I always say engagement, right? I kind of use that word because it transcends. So there's just so many different kind of, platforms and mediums. Because at the end of the day, everybody just wants to be engaged, right? So the flip side to having all this tech and having your phone with you all the time is there's so many things vying for your attention. There's so many things, like if you have like a spare second and a half, right? There's at least 10 things that are trying to take up that 1.5 seconds. And then I think when you look at the world of sports, it's just like anything else. I mean, it also needs your mind share. Every league, every team, everybody wants you to be thinking about them all the time, and that's the whole purpose of just constant communication from everybody all the time. And so, it's easy to say, how does gaming become a part of it? Because gaming is truly engaging. I mean, if you sit down to play a game, you're there for anywhere from 3 minutes to 3 hours, and you're kind of deep into it. And so the idea of being able to connect with any brand, whether it's a team or whether it's a product or anything like that, through something that is as engaging as gaming, becomes incredibly valuable. The trick to it, and from my point of view of being somebody in the industry, is that it's a lot easier said than done. Creating good games, creating games that compel, is just as hard as creating good books or creating good movies or creating good music. Like anyone can do it technically, but to actually make it stand out becomes a whole different thing. And so I do think that brands and teams and gaming is going to continue to kind of converge. But I think being able to create the actual products that take people out of the moment and really kind of engage them is going to become more and more important and trickier as there are more and more things kind of vying for people's time. That's not sure if I'm answering the question. More or less kind of giving you my thought on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I see the same thing. I see the same thing happening.
And so for HypGames, give me some examples. What are you working on? Like, what are you trying to engage fans with these days?
Well, I mean, the one that we've announced, our main one is called Ultimate Golf, and it is a mobile golf game. Because guess what? I decided to make a golf game, or we decided to make a golf game. Something we've done a lot of. And so the good thing with us and Ultimate Golf is that we were able to bring our experience from building golf games on practically every platform. In modern time. I don't think we made any Atari 2600, but a little bit after that, anything post PS1. And so we were able to bring it to this product, but then really think about how do we just add all the connectivity and all the stuff there and all the competition I've been talking about to golf. And so what we've done is we really created a product that's a mobile game you can download it on iOS and Android. It's called Ultimate Golf with an exclamation point because we wanted to make the point. And when you go in it, there's a ton of ways for you to play head to head against individual people. There's all kinds of leagues. We have a mode that's called Golf Royale, where essentially we start off with a couple hundred people all playing closest to the pin. And over 3 rounds, we whittle it down to just the top 10. And then there's a competition at the end. The whole thing takes about like 6 to 10 minutes to play. And the game's been out for about a year and a half, 2 years, and it's been growing phenomenally, and it's been performing really, really well because what we're doing is really creating this kind of sandbox for people that like golf to come on and just play and interact, and building a tremendous community around it too. So not only do people play in the game, but there's Discords and there's Facebook and there's all kinds of community kind of built up around it too, where these guys just come in every day and they literally just compete against each other with their friends. And then we have a kind of a country clubs mode within the game too, where you can organize within groups of 25 and then compete with other groups and stuff like that. And it's very prototypical. And then we have other products in development as well that all follow kind of that similar model, but are going to be focused on different sports and activities. But we haven't announced any of those yet, so I got to be careful.
I hear you. When you talk to teams and leagues, and if you do, what are they telling you they want? What do they want to build? How do they want to engage with their fans through gaming?
That is a really interesting question. And there's a couple of facets to it as well. And we have spoken to many teams, leagues over the years. We've also spoken to many individual athletes, celebrities, just all kinds of people kind of in that same sphere. And what they all, what the common thread is, a team or a league or an athlete, they're also an IP, right? They're also just a brand. And when they look at gaming, they think about it as a potential platform to bring their brand, to monetize their brand without trying to sound too, trying to sound too capitalistic. But the idea is when we talk to people, what they realize is that gaming is a nice opportunity to engage fans. It's also a nice opportunity to drive revenue. But for the most part, it's unclear how to do it, at least to them. And what we've done with a lot of the games that we're making, especially, is really focus on these opportunities to partner with people and then create a revenue stream for them too, off of their own brand or IP. So for example, we've partnered with different athletes and different entertainers within Ultimate Golf to do events for charity where we will sell golf balls in the game that help you play better, where proceeds would then go to charities. We've also done it where we've sold golf balls and proceeds go to our partners. So, the idea to be able to use gaming as a platform to merchandise, IP is interesting, I think, to everybody, right? So usually when we talk to a team or a league, they'll come and they'll say, "Hey, look, we've got all these fans, and we're doing a great job, engaging them and monetizing them in the thing that we do, but we know there's more." And we're like, "Yeah, we agree. I think one of those things is gaming." And and the funny thing is, it's not very different, right? So whether you go to a game and then you buy a jersey, or you play a video game and then you buy a jersey, you're still buying a jersey. and whether it's physical or digital is becoming a little bit more blurred. And so what gaming does in a lot of ways, like for example, we're doing an event today where we're partnering with Arnold and Winnie Palmer Foundation. We have the Bay Hill club inside of our game, and so because the Arnold Palmer Invitationals is actually kicking off today, we've partnered with them where we have digital events in our game where people will come in and play 18 holes against a score from Mr. Palmer, and they will pay a entry fee, and the proceeds of that entry fee will go to the foundation. And so in that regard, I mean, it's essentially a digital event, right? It's just like paying for a tee time, except you're paying for a digital tee time. And the prizes that you get are in-game things that you can use. And then the proceeds are going to charity. And so once upon a time, you'd have to literally have a golf course and have people pay to play to raise money for a cause through a golf event. But we're just doing it digital, and it works great. And so those are the kinds of things that we bring. So when we want to partner with somebody, we say, hey, here's all the things we bring. And here's all the stuff that we can do. And a lot of this is similar to the things that they do in the real world. But now they're just done on your phone, and they're done digitally, but the outcome is the same. People still pay to enter, and people still get prizes, and people still get awards, but everything is digital.
It's interesting. Mike Taramykin is the CEO and the founder of HypGames. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And I'll say I'm co-founder because the other guys get mad. But I'm one of them.
On the next Future Sport podcast, what if the basketball could tell you how to shoot it better?
Basketball at the youth and amateur level really doesn't have a solution that is accessible to many people. And so I think with SIQ, we're trying to provide advanced analytics to the masses, but we're also envisioning the world where why can't every basketball be a smart basketball?
That's Eric Anderson, CEO of SIQ Basketball, a technology based out of Europe that may change the way the game is played worldwide. That will do it for this episode. As always, the future is now. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein.